you guys today? How you doing tonight? I hope you're doing fabulous. I'm so excited that we have people who are tuning in live because I know that this is such a busy time of year for you. It is such a busy time of year. I know it. Let's get over to the chat and see who's with us. So if you are watching live, I want you to say hello in the chat. There's a chat box right over to the side. It should look like a little message bubble. You can type right in that and say hello to me. I'll get it started. I will say hi. Okay, so say hello. And because it's Thanksgiving, I would love to know what your plans are for Thanksgiving because I am going to go to my family's house, but I want to hear what you guys are doing for Thanksgiving. Are you doing a Friendsgiving? Are you staying at home and cooking for yourself and your dog? Are you meeting a lot of family? There everybody is. I see there we've got Rob and Danielle and Pam from the magazine and Molly. Hello. So yes, if you want to chat with us at all night long, you can do it over in the chat thread if you are watching live. So we've got Molly is doing a Friendsgiving. Kathleen is doing Thanksgiving. Is not a holiday in New Zealand. Kathleen's watching all the way from New Zealand. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I just want to welcome you here tonight because this is Pets Plus Live, Beyond the Pages of the Magazine. And I'm your show host, Candace Daniolo, the founder of Pet Boss Nation, which is a business coaching and consulting community helping independent brands and independent retailers thrive in their local communities. And I'm a regular columnist for Pets Plus, and that's why we team up together, because Pets Plus and I both deeply believe in helping build up and strengthen small business owners because we believe in you. And we know you can do amazing things with your small business. You can become a big, big business, and you can do really anything that you want with that business. And so we give you the tools between Pets Plus Magazine and Pet Boss Nation. We give you the tools to help support you in that journey. And I see we've got lots of our readers watching us live, and we have a lot of Pet Boss Club members tuning in, Anne and Eleanor. And tonight's guests for our Pets Plus Live, Nancy and Chris, are also Pet Boss Club members. So the way that these shows work is that this is our cool store feature. Now, I don't have a copy, unfortunately, of the November-December issue of the magazine, so I can't hold it up and show it to you. But what we do have is that every month, Pets Plus Magazine, they feature a cool store. They feature a different store every single month. And that store gets a couple page spread in the magazine. It's super cool. Now, that is going to be tonight's interview with Chris and Nancy Gwynn of Dog Krazy. And the other thing I want to mention, though, before we get started, is that the reason they're featured is because they applied to be a contestant. They applied to win America's Coolest Store. And Pets Plus does this America's Coolest Store contest every single year. And the announcements happen in June, I think, June or July of the following year. But what's happening right now, or very soon, not right now, sorry, what's happening very soon in January, so I'm telling you in advance, store owners, so that you can get prepared, because in January of 2020, Pets Plus is going to announce that applications for their America's Coolest Store can come in right away in January, which, if you win America's Coolest Store, you get your picture on the cover of the magazine. This is Jungle Bob. Jungle Bob was the very first America's Coolest Pet Store. And this was my very first Pets Plus Live. We did that together. And then year 2 was my girlfriend, Liel. Gotta love Liel from Bow Wow Beauty Shop. She was on here. And then last year was Bar K. They're in Kansas City, Missouri. This was so fun. This was my first on location big live stream. That was a ton of fun. And Dog Krazy is going to totally be in the running next year to be on the cover. I just know it because there's some cool things in their future. But if you want a chance to give Dog Krazy a run for it in this next year's competition, The application to apply for that contest is going to be announced in January. Okay. Now I have a link. Let me find it. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you guys have it if you're watching live. I'm not sure if this link is live. They gave it to me, but let's check it. I'm going to test it really quick and make sure. No, it's not live yet. Okay. So what you're going to, anyway, if you follow Pets Plus Magazine, which you should absolutely do, just go to petsplusmag.com and you can get your free subscription to Pets Plus Magazine. I'm going to come on over and I'll put that in the chat thread there. Go to petsplusmag.com to get your free subscription of the magazine, and you can opt in for emails. And I mean, my gosh, they are content machines when it comes to educating you guys on how to have your pet businesses. Now at Pet Boss Nation, we give you more one-on-one support. I do live video trainings and live office hours to help support you guys. And the way that I do that at Pet Boss Nation is through our Pet Boss Club. And enrollment to the Pet Boss Club is starting, or it opens in January 6th. Okay, so save the date. January 6th is the opening of the Pet Boss Club. So in January, you've got very important things to do if you're a pet boss. You've got to apply for America's Coolest Store, and you're going to join the Pet Boss Club because it will help you. I can guarantee it. All right, so tonight, I'm very excited because this is not only a power couple in the pet industry that I love, but this is also my second time getting to interview Nancy. All right, so let me give them their formal introduction here. So today, they're featured as the 2019 Pets Plus November and December Cool Store issue for their 5th location. This was their 5th location in Leesburg, Virginia. All of their locations are in Virginia, and this is the first one that added a pet bakery. And we're going to be talking about that in depth in just a bit. Now, as a company, they were founded back in 2006, and then but the store that's featured tonight was opened in 2018. So it's practically a baby. It's a baby Pet Boss, if that's even possible. It's a baby. And they were already a cool store in the magazine, which is super cool. It's a 2,800 square feet, and they have about 8 full-time employees and 4 part-time. At least that's what they had when the article was written. So I'm sure things have changed since now, because these guys, they are growing and growing in the pet industry. They are scaling and up-leveling every time I talk to them. So I want to bring them on camera now. All right. I'd love to welcome Nancy and Chris Quinn. Are you guys with us? All right. There they are. Hi.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry,
Yeah.
I had to hit the button.
You got the button. You figured it out. You got it. Well, welcome. Now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
you're repeat Pets Plus people here.
Yeah.
I remember Nancy, the first time, I feel like, I don't know, was it 2 years ago almost now, you were nervous, and then now you've had all these public speaking opportunities and you go on camera more now. Are you still nervous, or are you
like? Absolutely. 100%. I remember when I met you, I was nervous. I was like fangirling. I'm like, I love her. We have to go see her.
Well, and I remember you telling me that, and it made me just feel so, it made me feel good, because, everyone always wonders, like, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? And so it was really meant a lot that you shared that with me, and that you guys were there. And it was so fun to get to meet you in person. And I actually have those. I think I have the photos. I don't know if I share. I found the original photo of us. Yeah. The first photo we took.
If you go on Facebook and look at our connections, it has the pictures up.
Yeah. So, that was, now probably 2 or 3 years ago. I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a long relationship together and knowing each other. So why don't you tell us a little bit about just what Dog Krazy is? We'll get into the beginning in a little bit, but let's just tell us what it is.
You want to do this? You want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I started Dog Krazy in 2006. I was working in the medical field for 15 years, and I was actually going through infertility, and I couldn't have a baby. So after the 6th time of failing IVF, I finally got the dog I always wanted, a bulldog named Piglet, who you'll see back there on the wall. And I brought her to work with me. My boss let her bring her to work with me. And then when she was about 4 months old, he said, you can't bring her anymore. She's getting big. Bulldogs are gassy.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. Well,
where was this? Where were you working?
It was a dental office, and I was working in the billing department. So I was in a separate, I wasn't where patients were. So I actually was in school to be a trainer, and I had $8,000 in my bank account. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to become a trainer, so I don't need to work here anymore. So I gave my 2-week notice. And I actually drove to school that night. I was on my way to training school, and there was a store that had been there for 10 years, a local pet store. And I pulled up in front, and right when we pulled up, she put store closing in the window. And I got out of my car, and I was like, you can't close. Like, we need a dog store here. And she's like, well, if you want one, then open it. So I went to school, and I talked to my teacher, and she said, you know what, Nancy, you're so good with dogs. You're so good with people. You really suck at training. So you really should open a dog store, because you're not going to be a good trainer. You laugh when Piglet's bad.
Yes,
like, not a good.
Way too, you're like, just loving on them too much,
Yeah, exactly. They're bad. I'm like, it's your fault, not the dog's fault.
Booty a little more.
Exactly. So 3 weeks later, I actually opened the first store. And then 3 months in, I'll just be honest, I found out my husband was cheating on me. I filed for divorce, and I met Chris. And I proposed to him 3 weeks later.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I love your honesty, and I love, you're just hitting it home. You're like, listen, this is the reality. This is what happened.
That's what happened.
And if you hadn't been through that, you wouldn't have met Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he actually, we got married 6 months later. And then in 2015, he joined me. We worked, full time. We worked together for about 3 months, and then realized we can't be in the same building 24 hours a day. So we set out and opened the second store. And then Piglet and his heart dog Nova both passed away. And then I took a year off. He ran both stores for that year. And then I came back, and we just went full force, just opening locations left and right. I just want to spread the love that I had for that dog. I want to spread that to everybody out there. I want to know the best for her, and I want that for all our customers' dogs.
Yeah. So
honestly, it's all about a bulldog named Piglet.
Yeah. And did you ever think in the beginning, when you were just starting that first store, I don't even know if that woman was like, start your own, and you thought at the time, but did you ever really realize you'd have this many locations?
No. My business plan said that I was going to sell 80 collars a week. I sell like 80 collars a year in one location.
So, we honestly, along the way, we've had so many people that have helped us, and we've learned, obviously, we've had a lot of hard lessons that we've learned. But our original location, we were struggling so much that our landlord came to us and said, hey, you guys are struggling to pay the rent and stay on top of it. This space right next to you, which is a third of the cost and a third of the space, is opening up. Do you want to move there? So that was actually probably one of our saving graces. Is we actually downsized, went to a smaller store to build the business. It eliminated so much of the overhead cost that it helped keep us afloat, long enough to really build our customer base in order to become, more successful.
Yeah, one of our customers even let us, we really couldn't afford the rent in the house we were living in. One of our customers rented us her house, and we saved a lot of money there. We were able to save enough money to buy our own house living in her house.
Wow, that's really truly community coming together, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, customers saved us left and right.
I love that. So, all right. So Chris, you came into the company working full time around 2015. And it was.
He was doing all the accounting before that.
Yeah, before that, I was working a full-time job, but I still played the weekend warrior. I came and played with the dogs, and I did all the back end stuff, accounting and things like that. So
he would sell anything in my store.
I sold everything in the store.
Everything, things that I didn't want him to sell. I'd run out to run an errand, and he'd call me and say, like one time he called me, he said, "Honey, how much are these ornaments on the Christmas tree?" I said, "Those aren't for sale. Those were gifts. $3.99. Okay." Hung up. Sold them all. He was going to sell the tree if I hadn't gotten back in time.
Well, good salesman. So you felt for a long time like that business was yours, even though you weren't a majority shareholder or a shareholder of the company. You felt like it was yours. And so, Nancy, you did something pretty special this week, recently for Chris, didn't you? Tell us that story.
Yeah, his 40th birthday was in February. Oh, that was a hard decision. I actually signed over half the store to him.
Yeah,
I wanted to give him half. My accountant would not let me. My accountant started crying when I told her, and she's like, "You can't do that. Like, this is your store. You've built it." And I said, "No." My dad, who's behind me, I actually called him and I said, "Daddy, do you think I should do this?" He goes, 100%. He deserves it. Give him half the store. So we had it drawn up, and I had a cake made that said "Happy 49th" on it. And then when he got there, he opened the cake. I actually blindfolded him and told him I was taking him somewhere else. And he saw the cake and he's like, "What is 49?" And I said, "I'm giving you 49% of the store." And Chris went, "Why not 50?"
Of course.
So, but at the same time, I even told her, I was like, you know, I don't want 50. I don't ever want it to be 50-50, and no partnership should ever be 50-50. You should always have a deciding factor, or someone with the majority. From a business standpoint, it makes sense. I know. I mean, obviously, in our hearts, we're always in it together 100%. We're 50-50 on everything that we do. But you know, she ultimately has the deciding factor. You know, if I have an idea and she's like, nope, then I respect it, and you know, I don't run with it. It doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. So, and I actually just am thinking about this as we're talking about it, which is why I want to bring it up, because I know there's a lot of people watching, and myself included, where, you know, we were the women who started this business. And I shouldn't just say it's women, but, you know, there also are men out there who start businesses, and it's their bread and butter. It's how they identify them almost, you know, and it's their thing, you know. And then when you think about the fact of having to not having, but you're realizing you want to start to include the other person in your life in this business, and give them, in a sense, you know, give them that ownership, especially when you had already gone through what you had gone through with your previous relationship. I mean, I have my own relationship history as well. And so I think that fear of, you know, what's going to happen in the future, and here I'm going to gift this to somebody, it's kind of scary, you know, in reality. I only bring it up because I think, you know, for me too, you know, Joey is an amazing part of my life, but I have been married and I've been divorced. And I'm like, well, what does this mean if I give him this? What's the future hold for my business if I gifted him that? So can you walk us through your own thought process in that, or what it was like to go through that with Chris?
I honestly, like, if it were just me, Dog Krazy would still be one location. I wouldn't have expanded. We would not have grown as much as we would. He's made me change so many things that I don't like change. I am a very OCD. This is the way I've done it my entire life. You know, my mom, she checks the door 8 times before she leaves. Like, I remember hearing the jingle of her bracelet. That's me. I'm the same way, the exact same thing every single day. So if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have grown as much as we have. And I mean, I even said to our attorney, we went out not too long ago with our attorney, and I said to her, you know, if anything ever did happen between us, I just want the first location. He can have the other 4. That first one is my heart and soul. Like, I will fight, you know, to the death for that. But I'll give him everything else because, you know, but I know we're never going to, I mean, we're not ever breaking up. I'm right there.
I love that. All right, come on now, Chris. Show us that gun again. I got you. Like, hit it. Like, no, yeah, there we go. I love it.
This is a funny, I got to tell this story because this is hilarious. So when he first came into the business, he changed my business card. I had Dog Krazy in the Ren and Stimpy font. It's what I've always had. And one day he went and got business cards made in some other ugly font. And I lost it, like the biggest fight we've ever had. And he finally threw the cards away. We never used them, never spoke of it again. And then like 2 years ago, I go to work. I think it was Christmas time, wasn't it?
It was shortly after our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, I walk into work and he's like, I have a present for you. And I said, what? And he had them do my name in the Ren and Stimpy font as a gift.
So yeah, so I have her tattooed on me in Ren and Stimpy. I mean, the biggest thing, we've gone through our trials and tribulations long before I came on full time. So and you know, we had those moments of like, you know, are we going to make it and things like that on our personal side. And once we made it through that, we realized that, you know, we're in it together for the long haul. You know, there's nothing that can break us up. And you know, coming into it full time, it just, you know, there's, you know, I would, even if we, for whatever reason, you know, got divorced, we would still run Dog Krazy together. You know, just, you know, it's obviously it's our life, it's our passion. But we're never going to get divorced. So
yeah,
I mean, we're inseparable.
Nope.
Yeah, right. And, you know, honestly, if there was anyone that's going to be in business with Nancy, you're the perfect person, Chris. You're perfect for that. So this was meant to happen. Okay. So Nancy, I know you're a crier, especially when it comes to Piglet. So we're gonna
we can just skip over that
for you in this, but I know that you've given us a little bit of the journey of like how the store started, and that it's all you mentioned Piglet in the beginning, and Piglet isn't with you anymore, and Piglet
she's right there. She's in my ring.
Yes. Tell us a little bit at the beginning, like how like what was her story? What was the journey? Like how did it all start with her, and why is she the focal point?
Well, I always wanted a bulldog. I was just obsessed with bulldogs, and they're really expensive dogs. And I waited until I knew I could afford one. And like I said, she was my I can't have a baby dog, so I treated her like a baby. I did everything with her. She had a ton of allergies. She had a ton of health issues when it came to allergies. So that's when I started focusing on nutrition. And then I started helping customers with it. And that's when I ended up going to school to become a clinical pet nutritionist. And then the business has just really taken off from there. To this day, we get calls all the time, messages all the time. I heard the owner's a clinical pet nutritionist. Can you help with this, 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 and this? So we're well known for that. But Piglet, again, it was all because of her.
Mm-hmm. And now you have many other pets as well. Tell us all their names.
After Piglet passed, we got poor Wonton, the bulldog. He was actually born 6 days after she passed. Both of his legs were backwards. He had kidney issues, and I took it as a sign that she sent him to me. We actually met with an animal communicator not too long ago, and she looked at Porky and she said, she sent you that dog. He wasn't ready to be born yet, but she knew you needed him, and she sent him to you. And I was like, all right, this woman knows. We have Stir Fry Fat Guy. He's a Bull Mastiff mix. Sushi is our beagle. Her birthday is actually tomorrow. She'll be 6. And then he has a Bull Mastiff named Tala. And then we have Jimmy Dean, the pig. And then we have a cat named Ozzy and a macaw named Max.
Wow. That's a busy house over there.
Yeah.
I have a pig if anybody wants them.
You can't have them.
Yeah. So it's funny because I feel like now, even more recently, even with Facebook, like all these people that I know are posting their pet families, and I'm like lacking. I only have 2 right now, and I feel like everybody I'm seeing in my feed has like 5 to 7 animals in their home, and I'm like, man, I need to up my game.
Yeah, I didn't know your dog's names. Like I know his dog's name.
Yeah. Well, Clover and Dory, they're here. They're actually, if I could turn my camera, I can turn my camera. Let me actually see. I'll show just because, because you said you didn't know. I got to include him here. All right, hang on. Let's see if we can turn it. It may not go down. Let's see. No, I can't.
Oh.
But anyway, they're there. We've got a big red chair. Clover's wrapped up on the big red chair, and little Dory's on the bed. Okay, so we know that you've got Piglet behind you in your logo, and Piglet's in almost every Piglet's in the logo, right? That's Piglet every time.
Yeah, we have 2 different logos. Piglet is the one that we use in all our printing, and then we have the dog Krazy. We have this one we use on the side. I don't know if you can see it, the red one with the bone. That's one, and then the other one is I don't have it over here. It's on that card. And then that's the Piglet one that we use on everything. So it just depends on what we're printing on which logo we use.
Yeah. And then how, you use your pets a lot in your marketing. And we talked about a little bit in the article. Tell us about the ways that you use your pets in your marketing.
Honestly, anything that we bring into the store, we try on our pets first. So I always share my experiences. If it's something that my pets can't have, we have one of our employees use it, or we have a customer use it, and we ask them to photograph and give us any feedback on it, and then we use that on all our social media. So if we're bringing in a new product, you're going to see one of our animals or a customer or one of our employees' animals with it first. So that way they know we've tried it ourselves before we've decided to sell in our stores.
Right, and you incorporate them on your social media, and I'm sure they're very much a part of your lives. So, and then Chris, tell us about the ways that you feature your customers' pets on your, and even your employees' pets. I feel like, from what I see and watching on your social media, like you're very engaged with your community. And I remember from the last time that I interviewed you, Nancy, you said that your customers have your cell phone number.
Yeah,
that's crazy
they
to me.
still do.
A lot of them do. She has stopped giving it out, thankfully, because it would go off all hours of the night. But now, of course, they just reach out through Facebook, and so it's the the Facebook Messenger ding, ding, ding that I hear all hours of the night. Honestly, the big thing, obviously, it's a community. So that's we do every week we have a customer of the week that we're featuring their dog. Even our employees get involved with it. We have a communication board throughout all the stores where the employees will pick certain products, do little videos with their dogs and stuff like that, so that we can put it onto social media. If you looked like throughout our store, I can show you, like we have pictures of our customers' dogs up throughout the store and stuff like that. So it's just things like that we do to make sure, I'm gonna mess that up. Make sure that involved. It's not just another store that they walk into. It's they're walking in and they're seeing their dog on the wall and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I love what you said about the employees. Have a list. They have a list of things that they know they're supposed to kind of promote and get a customer using it or customer feedback. Now, you guys jump on camera, no problem. Your employees, if you like, help to get engaged in that. Like, what were some of the hurdles you had to get over, or how did you get so comfortable, going on social media and sharing your story and sharing your customer story?
Lola.
Yeah, I'm an open book. I mean, when you meet my mom in a second, you'll see my mom has always been. He says I get because I'm Filipino. He says I get Filipino mouth sometimes, and stuff just comes out. No matter what I'm thinking, it just comes out. I've always been honest with everything that I'm feeling or thinking or I want to say. That's just always how I've been. So when it comes to my customers, I've always invited them into my lives because I want them to know, we're here. Like when I first opened the store, I was open 9 to 9, 7 days a week. That was my family. Like I was with those people more than I was with my family. My mom and dad can tell you, I didn't get to go home for Christmas or Thanksgiving because I was always working. I'm still always working. So my customers, they really are my family. So they have direct access to me and, know what's going on at all times.
Yeah.
When Piglet passed away, I mean, I can't even tell you the outpour. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, you're right. When I think about even my own career in the pet industry, it's like I spent many holidays where I couldn't get away because I was working the store and didn't have a team in place to be able to walk away, and I missed a lot. And yeah, you saw your customers more than you saw your friends, even some of them that would come once a week, or more than that on their daily walks by the store. So that's so true.
Yeah, even sometimes when in years past where we've had customers that we know don't have family or anything like that, we've invited them over to our house for for Thanksgiving or whatnot, and we try to obviously keep it as relaxed as possible on Thanksgiving because we're always go. So anytime that we can just have customers or we don't call them customers, they're friends, come over and just hang out and relax and not have to worry about anything. That's it's a good time.
Yeah, my mom has invited our employees and our friends and customers to her house for Thanksgiving. It's always an open door policy. When I was younger, my dad would go pick up a bunch of the guys in the Air Force that couldn't go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas and bring them to my family's house. And I remember having like 20 people in the house that we didn't know, and my mom would cook for all of them.
So this isn't so much that you have learned to do this. This is just your upbringing and lifestyle and how your family is. The more the merrier. The door is always open. We're all family here together. I love that. Are you sure you're not Italian?
No.
All right. Well, we are going to bring. I feel like I have to take a picture now and show you guys because now I'm like they have to believe that I have dogs. I have a dog. So there we go. Let's let the camera. I hope it'll zoom in. There they are. And Dory, they're right here.
And they're in dog crazy colors, red and yellow.
Yeah. All right. Well, without any further ado, your mom's kind of been on camera with us the whole time since her picture's on the back. But let's go ahead and bring your mom over because
come on, Lola.
That Lola's coming on over, and it's because we're here talking about your cool store feature, which is this location in Leesburg, and you added a bakery, and it's Lola's Bakery. Welcome, Lola. Or should I say Marie or Maria?
Lola.
Lola's. Everybody calls her Lola.
So tell us the story behind Lola and why we should all call you Lola.
Lola means grandma
in Tagalog.
In Tagalog. And all my children calls me Lola. And the story of this having bakery is because one time Nancy, everybody is in one of the restaurant in here, and she saw that there's a place in here for a dog Krazy. And then and I didn't know that she's gonna go do this. It was really a surprise. Is it on my birthday that she did it?
Yeah,
she came home with a t-shirt and it's the Lola's Bakery, and she said that she's gonna go do a bakery first on my name. And the reason why is because when she was young, I do love baking. And then in Texas, and I do a lot of baking, and my dream is to have a restaurant.
No, you wanted to have a bakery, and you wanted to sell egg rolls and cake.
Yeah, and then she said that she can do that, so she's going to have a dog bakery. Yeah. And that's the reason why we had this
So if you wanted a bakery with egg rolls and cake, are you doing that now? I mean, like, I hear you got some pretty
Oh, by
creative
all
things
means,
on
if
that
anyone
menu.
wants to order it, I can make it too. Although now I'm doing the banana bread for them,
Yeah.
for the
So what
dog.
are some of your favorite items to make?
I do the banana bread. That's the
Mhm.
most favorite one.
Yeah, we both haven't been here in the last month since I had surgery. So when I was coming in, she would come in with me. So she would bake and then I would decorate. So I would say, "Mom, we're going to do this now," and we, come up with fun ideas together and do everything. But she hasn't been here because I haven't been here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love that it's a team effort. Um, Now, when you decided to add this bakery piece, because I know there's a lot of stores who are watching who know that to be able to really kind of compete with the internet and compete with big boxes, that we have to bring in these elements of surprise for our customers or elements of service, whether it's a grooming salon or doggy daycare, or in this case, adding a bakery. So I'm curious, I would love to talk about this a little bit more. If you could share, like, how much did you have to invest in, like, that equipment that's behind you? You've got your oven and your mixers and your table and your sink. How much does somebody have to save up for this?
I honestly don't know what the actual cost would be. So I was buying the oven we did buy. That was like 4,000.
Yeah.
Our bakery case, we have two different ones. I think this one was like 2,000, but almost everything else. I have a lot of friends that own restaurants.
Okay.
There was actually a restaurant going out of business, and one of my friends called me. She knew the person who designed the restaurant, and they had not announced they were closing yet, but they were selling everything that morning, and she wanted local people who owned restaurants to come and buy stuff from her. So she called me at like 7 that morning, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just drinking coffee." She's like, "All right, you need to meet me here in like 20 minutes. We'll be the first ones in the door. We can buy everything before she even announces it to the public." I felt awful because somebody's going out of business and I'm going to go take advantage of this. But I went with her, and we ended up buying, I think we spent like 1,200, and I got everything, the mixers, the bowls, tables,
Wow.
everything. I felt so bad. I just kept buying stuff. I didn't even know if I needed it or not. I was just like, because I felt awful. All her employees were coming in and to pick up their last paychecks, and it was just a really uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. But honestly, I think the best part of that was I said to her, if you could pick any of these, these employees, if you could keep any of them, who would you pick? And she pointed at two of them, and one of them I had no interest in. But the other one, I talked to her for a few minutes, and I said, I don't know if you're, I know this was last minute. I said, if you need something temporarily, come talk to me. I'll hire you. Just come across the street if you need a job. And she ended up being phenomenal. She's one of our managers now. We actually just moved her to our busiest store, which nobody's been able to manage ever. So she's now managing our flagship store, and she's amazing. So, opening a bakery got me the best manager you could ask for.
That's awesome. I love that story. And I love also that you were able to, like, have a pulse on, like, what was going on with some good equipment, when it's going to happen, and I think that that's a great suggestion for anyone who wants to add it. Because most people are not going to be going to open another facility. They may be deciding, hey, I've got some excess space, or I need to cut some merchandise out that's not selling, or potentially even turn their grooming or self-wash area into a bakery. So they already know that if they just hold out and kind of search for this product, they probably can find.
After that, I was addicted. I started going on all these sites, going to all these auctions. I bought all these things I didn't need for like 10 cents a piece, but it was like,
she do a good lots of decorations on the cookies. I can bake, and she can make all kinds of decorations, all kinds of ideas, like making a hamburger or the tacos or things like that for the dogs.
I love it.
It's,
So how do
it's
you guys
fun.
keep yourself organized in that kitchen, with your recipes you need to make for those bakery cases?
we have a list. We have a list of all the different recipes. Honestly, one of the our employees that's working here now, I came in today, like I said, I haven't been here in a month, and I walked in and I was just shocked at the different creations she's made.
Good.
She's done such a good job. She's done everything different than how I do it, but I love it. Like she went, I have zero
And the
complaints.
kitchen is clean too.
Yeah,
It's organized.
immaculate.
It's organized.
Lola's happy. The kitchen is clean.
Yeah, it's organized. I
I
always
love
tell her I'm just doing the volunteer, so I can complain if it's
Yeah,
not
nobody's allowed
organized.
to make banana bread. Only she can. So she's been making that at home and bringing it in for us. Nobody's allowed to touch that recipe.
I love
So
it.
yeah, you don't actually have to have a lot of space. You were talking about freeing up space, and I would say it's probably about 300 square feet that we have dedicated to the bakery. To the bakery. And that includes a refrigerated bakery case,
And freezer.
a checkout stand, a standard bakery case, the table, storage units. Then we have the freezer and a freezer, a fridge, and an oven.
Do you have a dehydrator? Are you guys dehydrating the cookies?
Not right now.
No, we have one. We don't have it here. But we actually just put another bakery in our Stafford store, and that's maybe 150 square feet, if even that.
Yeah, but that's in the back of the store. So what you can do, and what I would recommend is if you're not having it up front where customers can see it, obviously you'll still have your bakery cases up front so they can buy it. The one in our Stafford store is in the back, so customers can't see it. So I actually put a bathroom exhaust going from the bakery up to the front room. So when you're baking, it'll actually suck all the smell into the front room. So it'll still draw people into it. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll smell like a bakery. That's so
Exactly.
fabulous.
Yeah.
I love that. So
That's the reason why in here during like weekend when a lot of people are coming and somebody's baking in here, everybody comes in here. Not only humans but also dogs are coming over here and ask for samples.
Yeah, I love that. So Lola, what's your favorite part about Dog Krazy?
Being with Nancy, whenever she's here, I enjoy working with her.
Always has to touch me.
Yeah.
Always touching me.
Oh, I can feel the love through the camera. Lola, are you a hugger? Do you hug all your customers too?
Not exactly, but I just smile at them and talk to them a lot. That's why my husband said, Nancy got it from me. I talk a lot. Right, Nancy? Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, my dad comes in and he brings donuts and he hands them out to all our customers. I love when they're here.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you've got this family business and it's growing and growing.
Well, this Leesburg is really for family. That's the reason why she built this because we live close by in here. I don't drive too far in Fredericksburg. She has to come over here and visit us. I'm old and it's hard. You know, it's they come over here to visit. But now there's a store. Whenever she's here, I can just drive in here and be with her. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
so
I love
it's
that.
easier.
Yeah. That's so wonderful. So what does the future hold for the bakery division of Dog Krazy?
Well, according to him, I'm going to start wholesaling in 2020. We had planned on that, but I didn't know he was telling anybody. Yeah.
Lola, are you ready to put in more volunteer hours there, Lola?
I'm not well. I'm letting them make all these decisions. Like I said, I'm just a volunteer.
Yeah. So we've got wholesale in the future.
Yeah, I've actually talked to people before. I have an idea for something that I have not seen yet, and that's our next step. I would really love to get into distribution.
Mm-hmm.
On that side,
Yeah.
On my side, I will have more retail stores in the future. I already have 2 more that I have where I want to go. It's a matter of her letting me open them. So yeah, but also just additional services. We're also looking at daycare, adding daycare next year. You and I have talked about it several times over. We want to be able to fully service our community, and that's the big thing. So we're working out the details on that next year. Once we iron that out, then we'll be able to replicate it for other locations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exciting. I'm all for wholesale. I'm all for doggy daycare and more locations. So Nancy, even though you have the 51%, you'll gift Chris again with the opportunity to open more stores.
She already promised that I could. I had to wait. 2019 was a break. 2020, I get to open more. So
we expanded in 2019. We
essentially. You've had a lot of growth since 2015, even to now. So it's only short 4 years. You guys have conquered a lot. So, all right. So Lola, it was wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mommy.
Bye.
So your mom's fabulous. My mom is also pretty fabulous, but I fired her in like 2008. She helped me. Maybe it was 2009. Anyway, but which was perfect timing because then my sister got married and started having babies, and now she gets to be a grandma and be with the babies all the time. But it's pretty funny. I love to tell the story where, like, at my shop, my mom, I wanted to go, I was going away to Europe for like 2 weeks, and I barely had any employees. So my mom came up and worked the store for me. She worked the store for me, and she ended up, I came back from Europe.
I have to lock the door.
When was this? This was like before like Facebook. It was before, there weren't really even that many internet cafes. I mean, there were, but the internet was bad in Europe. And I came home, and my whole store was like rearranged. All the signs were different. Things were organized like it was a garage sale. I shouldn't say garage sale, but it was bad. It was bad. And I flipped out. And my mom was like, Candace, I've been working this store for you. You've been gallivanting all over Europe. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mom. I realized how rude that was for me to act that way after she worked at my store for 2 weeks. And it was back in the day, though. I literally was like, here's a notebook and a pen. And if anyone asks questions that you can't answer, just write it in the book and tell them I'll come back to them in 2 weeks, And it worked. I took a vacation. Now that wouldn't fly anymore, but and it probably hurt my business back then. But I had to do what I had to do. So I'm glad that your mother-daughter working relationship is working out better than mine.
Well, we fired her several times. I have fired her several times.
That's why she's a volunteer. She doesn't get paid.
Yeah, doesn't get paid. Yes. All right. So let's talk now about the dog crazy way, because in the article, they had that as one of the sections, the dog crazy way. And I thought that would be a really good next topic for us to talk about, is that just kind of figuring out what that, not even in regards to the article, but like when you hear that, the dog crazy way, I want to find out from both of you what that means to you. So Nancy, what does the dog crazy way mean to you?
Like I said before, we treat our customers like their family. And that's what we teach our employees. Like every person that comes in the door, you need to find out everything you can about that person and literally make them feel like they're a part of our family. And that's what we just recently promoted somebody to trainer, and that's what she's training people to do. She's doing quizzes on nutrition. Anything that I know, we need to make sure our employees know. So that way, when they come in, they can talk to anybody who works for us, and they can get the same experience they would have if they were talking to me or Chris. So they don't have to ask for the owner. Anybody who works for us is going to be just as knowledgeable and just as friendly as we are.
Awesome. I love it. And so Chris, how about for you? What does the dog crazy way mean to you?
Yeah, I think that's about it. Anybody that walks through our doors, I don't want them to ever feel like, they're another, just another customer. I want everybody to be my friend. I want everybody to, I want to love every dog, even if the dog doesn't necessarily love me. I'm gonna love on that dog. It's one of those things where when they come in, it's the old Cheers, where everybody knows your name mentality, and that's really what we have. I think we even have shirts, made up where
dog crazy, where everybody knows your dog's name.
Yeah, because everybody that walks through, we want to know them. We want to know what's going on with them. We not just about their dogs, but what's going on in their lives also, because it's not. There's two sides to everything, because what's going on in their life obviously can impact their dog's life. So we really truly are interested in what's going on in everything, in every aspect of their life. So we want to be their friend.
Yeah, we had a customer come into this store. Like I said, this is the newest store, and I was working the store for the first 6 months. And then now we have got one of our managers in Fredericksburg drives up here 4 times a week for us. She's amazing. She's been working here to help with the staff that's here, because they're all new. They haven't worked at the other stores. But one of our customers here, he's a really good friend. He said to me a few months after we opened, he said, Nancy, there's a lot of stores in this area. He said, but this is the first store that I've walked into that I truly know that everybody who works here loves my dogs the way I love them. He said, one of my dogs is really skittish. She comes in here and she's like a different dog. She immediately sits on your lap and loves on you. And, God, his dog, I'm talking about Mouse. Yeah. His dog Mouse, God, that dog had my heart. He was the sweetest dog I ever met. Like the night I met him, I remember I saw him and I was like, God, that is the most beautiful dog I've ever seen. He's a black honey corso mix. And I was like, he is so handsome. What is he? And we talked for like 2 hours. And then every time he was coming up here, he'd text me and say, hey, I'm going to Dog Crazy. Are you there today? And I remember there was one time he called me and I couldn't get up here. And so he had told Mouse, he said, yeah, we're going to Dog Crazy today. And then I wasn't here. So he was like, well, I just got to go grab something. So I'm not going to bring Mouse. And he was driving down his driveway and he had to stop and call me because Mouse knew he was coming to Dog Crazy. He jumped through the screen window and ran after him because he knew he was coming here. and things like that. That's just, I mean, that says so much to us. So they know that we love them the way that we do.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Okay, so obviously, if you're talking to customers for 2 hours at a time, you are running out of time in the day to get everything done to run a business, I'm sure, sometimes. So you need team, you need help.
Yeah.
And I know that the two of you have divided your responsibilities, and that's covered in the article. But what I want to talk about now is, as you've got these 5 locations and you're expanding, do you have like a home office team or and is somebody helping run the companies all together, or do you like each location run independently? I'd love to learn more about kind of operationally how things are structured, because I know there's people watching who have 1 or 2 when they're looking to scale as well.
So right now, and of course we're working on that. Overhead cost is always going to be, a factor when you're growing. When you're at 1 or 2, you're at that point where you're like, I need more support, on the office side, the back end side. But can I afford to pay them what they need to be when they're not actually generating, or not necessarily generating money? So we're at that point where we're starting to have more people. We hired a marketing person. We actually just promoted a person into from a sales associate into she's going to be our training manager. So she's completely revamping our training program, so that way everybody that's coming through, before they even hit the floor, they're going to be fully trained. So technically, every store is independently operated. We have a store manager, we have lead sales associates, and then we have our sales associates, we have groomers and things like that. And then we have a few back-end office people that aren't really on the floors. Everybody is trained to be on the floors. Everybody has gone through like whiz-bang training. Everybody has, the Retail Sales Academy training. They have that mentality of, everybody that walks through that, if you need to hop on register, if you need to help out a customer, you're gonna help out. I don't care what your job title is, you're gonna help out. But yeah, we're working on beefing up the back end to help foster more of the front end.
Mm-hmm. And do you foresee yourself having, or maybe you already have one, but like having a warehouse where things will ship to the warehouse and then they're going to ship to the stores, or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's
at what point do you really need to do that?
Yeah, well, we've looked for one.
I mean, we've looked at it. It's got to make financial sense. And most people will actually, unless you have a lot of locations, it's just not going to make financial sense. Right now, we have locations that have enough storage space where we can have extra products shipped to one location, and then we have a delivery van that we can transfer between locations. So each of our locations essentially is a warehouse into itself. It's not, a 35,000 square foot warehouse, but it'll hold enough product that maybe this one store can't fit it in. So we'll hold it here, and then when we need to, we'll transfer it to the other location. So.
I love that. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, for those of you that are still with us live tonight, you're welcome to type them in the chat thread. I have more questions for them, so you're not off the hook just yet, Nancy and Chris. but if you guys have questions, feel free to type them, and we'll get to them. And if you're watching a replay of this on Facebook or YouTube or Pets Plus's website, you can always type your questions in the comments of the video, and we will follow up. All right, so our first question from one of our viewers is from Rob, and he's curious, what is the average size of your stores?
3,000 square feet?
Yeah, right now 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
And it's roughly 2,000 is dedicated to, roughly 1,800 is dedicated to the retail. And then we have roughly 700 dedicated to grooming, 700 to 800 to grooming, and then the rest is back end.
Yeah, so you guys do supplies and grooming. Okay.
Right now, yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. And that's great. Yeah, my store was only like 1,000 square feet, and that did not include grooming space. So 3,000, that's great. I love that size. Between 2,500 and 3,000, I feel like you can do a lot of stuff. You can carry a lot of product and open up things for little bit more like lounging room almost for customers. It's
We're jammed.
No, yeah, and honestly,
like I'm looking right now, they had to add more fixtures and there's stuff everywhere.
yeah, our Richmond store is the smallest right now. It's 2,400 square feet and it's packed to the gill. I'm actually reaching out to the building owner to see if he'd consider building onto the back of it, just so we'd have more space. Even another 500 square feet would, it'd be phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Rob wants to also know if you offer delivery.
Yes. Yeah, so that's we've really kind of put a focus this year on online sales. Actually, that's what one of these things is. It's
And actually, we staple this to every receipt saying local delivery available from our door to yours. We have you covered. So it's free local delivery and then free shipping over $99. We do a lot of shipping too.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that's really boosted our online sales. I actually do most of the deliveries. I have fun doing it because I still get to see the customers' dogs.
I get mad when they don't let us pet them.
Most of the time they'll let me pet. But yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, I love that. And all right, Pam wants to know if you want to expand outside of Virginia.
Yes, Florida we've looked at.
Anything that gets us closer to the Bahamas.
To the Bahamas, yeah.
I was gonna say there's the big goal of building the house in the Bahamas, right?
Yes.
And so yeah, work your way down, and then you can just like take your little private plane on the way back up if you ever have to visit anybody. Right?
Honestly, it's tough to be able to manage, locations that are remote. This is our Leesburg store, but it's technically an hour and a half away from our other stores. Almost 3 hours if you go to our southernmost store. And it's proven to have some challenges to be able to manage it that remote. So to have one that's out of state will be interesting because how often will you be able to get there? Are they getting the support that they feel they need, or are they going to feel like they're the redheaded stepchild of the business?
Yeah, that's what our Leesburg store and our Richmond store always say. They feel like the stepkids sometimes because at least once a day I'm in one of our Fredericksburg, Stafford stores.
Yeah.
They're 10 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time there, and we try to get to the other ones. This is actually like probably my top two. Leesburg is probably my second favorite store of all our stores. Downtown is almost my first, but I love being in this store.
What about franchising? Have you thought about the franchise model? No.
Well, no, that's not true. We have thought about it, and we've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people have dissuaded us from wanting to do it. Usually, according to them, franchising will start off great for the first year, and then about year two, when the business isn't where that franchisee is expecting it to be, they go off script and start doing their own thing, and then that's when a lot of headaches start to happen.
If we can't have our hands on it, it's not the dog Krazy way.
Yeah.
Like, he's even saying we hired somebody for marketing.
Well, yeah,
that lasted like 3 months because she could not do things the way we did it. I got her to start, doing things for social media. I found myself deleting 75% of what she had ready for me because it wasn't us. And I kept saying, you can't use stock photos. Like, you can't, no, it has to be personal. I send you photos of our pets. These are what you need to use. She couldn't get corporate out of her head. And that, where she worked before was a corporate pet store where they have 52 locations and they use stock photos for everything. We're personal, one-on-one, involve our customers' dogs. Just couldn't, if it's not us and us putting our heart and soul into it, it just doesn't make sense for us. Oh, we lost her.
Nope.
Sorry, no, I turned my mic off.
Okay.
Dory was barking, and so I turned my mic off. Okay, so yeah, that gets us to Beth Gibbs' comment here. She says, as one of their vendors, I can tell you that the Dog Krazy way means everyone who comes into their store is family. Customers, staff, vendors, they are wonderful to everyone.
Beth is wonderful.
We love that.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to work with them. And, I know that just having been, gotten to know you guys better in the industry, your vendors do love you. I mean, I think you've even gone on vacation with some, so.
We're supposed to. They backed out on us, actually.
Yeah, they had a sick dog.
Yeah, we're leaving for the Bahamas on Monday, and they were supposed to come with us for 10 days, but their dog has cancer, so they're not able to come.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that that's happening. Okay, so I'm also curious, just as we wrap up, in case there's any other questions, what defines success for you guys? Maybe each of you can answer that question. What defines success?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Being open another day. Just being open one more day. That's successful.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, yeah, obviously paying the bills, that's important. Success to me is making sure that every customer that comes through our door, we are providing them with the best care possible, the best advice, the best product, the best knowledge that we have, to give them, that, we're giving them, that. To me, that's success. If we're able to just impart just a little bit of knowledge to our customers, then I feel like that we did a good job.
I love that. I do love that. All right. And what habits or skills do you think that each of you have had that have helped support the business's success?
My memory. I remember every person, every dog. I can tell you, like, if I meet somebody, I can tell you the first thing they ever bought from us. My memory is just really long. I don't forget anything. So I know that's made a huge difference.
Try and win an argument with that.
Yeah.
For me, honestly, it's I mean, we both bring passion, but I bring passion in a different way because I have a passion for sales. I also have a passion for numbers. So I'm the numbers guy. I'm constantly looking at the numbers. I'm constantly pushing our guys to do better and take it to that next level. And it's our Richmond store is not even 3 years old, and it's almost at the level of our Fredericksburg store, which is our flagship store. And it's one of those things that's, it's amazing. And I love, because I have graphs and everything of, our sales growth over the years, and it's amazing to see, these stores that you're like, you're concerned and you got knots in your stomach, pulling the trigger on signing a lease if it's going to be successful. And then a matter of, 2 years later, it's, rivaling
the first
yeah,
store.
the first store. And
It's not going to beat my first store.
It's, it'll beat the first store. Give it another year. It'll beat the first store. So I love, yeah, I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers.
Yeah, and it's amazing, like, with the numbers, it's amazing. Like, I know this is a question for later, but what difference one person can make for your business. Like, we've done changes in management, and even this store. I walked in here today. We have a new manager that's been here. She's, been traveling from Fredericksburg here for us. This is a completely different store than it was 6 weeks ago. She has it so organized, so I wouldn't change anything. Normally I come in and I start picking things up and moving things around, and like, she has this store perfect.
So, and that brings up a good point, especially when you start to grow, because you can't be in the stores as much as you want to be. Know your numbers, because you can start noticing the trends, and when you start seeing dips and things like that, then you know that something's not right. And it's because the customers haven't changed. Your customers are still coming to you. Ultimately, when you start seeing dips in the numbers, it means that your employees aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Or the manager's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you can start, honing in and figuring that out to, a lot of times it comes down to training. Did I do the right job training them and stuff like that? And, so that's why I look at numbers every single day.
Yeah, and so you've got the numbers, you've got the creativity, Nancy, and the passion behind it. So for anyone else that's watching, if there's what kind of business advice do you give them, or where would you have them go to learn more? What resources do you suggest that they look into?
We actually went to the retail summit, the Whiz Bang Retail Summit, and when we were there, one of the pieces of advice they gave us was to join a group where we could actually talk with other business owners. We actually went to lunch with them because they have a group, and it wasn't for us. And we,
don't serve mayonnaise.
I walked out of that group. And I talked to Chris about it. I was like, you know what? I think we need to join Pet Boss Club because I really admire Candace and I've learned a lot from her. And I really want to take, that part of Retail Whiz Bang Summit out of there. I do think we need to be in a group where we can learn more and share experiences. So we joined the Pet Boss Club. So that was a great piece of advice that we got from there, was to join a group. And if you're in the pet industry, of course, the Pet Boss Club is a great one to join. Just recently you gave us that bingo card idea. Phenomenal. Our employees are like killing each other right now, trying to beat each other in sales. It's crazy. One of them is almost done in 2 days, almost completed the entire bingo card. Yeah.
Nice. I love that. And you're going to play bingo again soon. So I don't
Our
want
customers,
to bag for your customers to know too early, but yeah, there's lots of ways that you guys can play bingo. And for anyone watching that has no clue what we're talking about, you can learn more about it in the Pet Boss Club, which you can join in January 6th. Enrollment will open for the Pet Boss Club, and we're glad to have you in there. And it was so fun to see you at the Whiz Bang Retail Summit. It is the best retail summit for independent retailers. So everyone should go to that. It'll be back in January.
Yeah, if you're going to join two groups, Whizbang Retail would be the one that I'd recommend. And I love Whizbang because it's all different industries coming together and talking about. It's not just pet, obviously, and then of course, Pet Boss Club. I love it because it is, and then of course you also have the brick and mortar one. So I love, I love that aspect of it too, because you can get more honed in on, what we go through on a daily basis as brick and mortars and stuff like that. But then also, if we're looking to adventure in, obviously you have daycare people in there and things like that. So I love the Pet Boss Club. But Whizbang is phenomenal because then you get the other aspect of it with different industries and different mindsets and things like that.
Yeah. There's a whole amazing thread going on. I don't know if you've seen it today. There was one about, not to get totally off topic, but there was a great one. It was just about millennials and wanting to like motivate.
I commented on it.
I know you did too. Yeah, but I loved all the I was like, oh, that's great. That's great. Like the different perspectives. And again, it's because it's just all the different industries and a lot of people. So, well, thank you so much for those resources, and I truly appreciate the compliments. Obviously, we'd love to have you as part of our Pet Boss family. So, thank you for that. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, and congratulations on being the Cool Store feature in this year's magazine, or in this issue, this month's magazine. And I have a feeling you're going to be applying for that America's Coolest Store, I'm sure, in January.
One day we're going to win.
You're going to win.
We're going to win one day.
I have no doubt. that could happen. So thank you so much for tuning in. And for everyone else that's watching live, thank you for giving us your time tonight. I know that your hours are precious, especially right now, close to the holidays. And so thank you for dedicating time to Chris and Nancy and myself and Lola, and also for just being here and contributing, because I truly believe that we are all stronger together. And when any small business thrives and keeps any storefront open, it's a good thing. So let's have a wonderful small business Saturday that's coming up at the end of this week. And for everyone, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. All right.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.